Hello there, my name is Dr. Inaka Yembe, founder of the Evolve Method. I help people struggling with obesity to lose weight and achieve their health and their wellness goals. Today we'll be talking about how to lose weight on a budget. I have been counseling my patients on weight loss for the past 14 years. One of the most common complaints that I hear is that it is difficult to lose weight because healthy foods are too expensive. And of course, as we know, your weight is about 75 to 85% dependent on what you eat. So it's really important that you put the right things into your body in order to help you lose weight and keep it off. So I'm here today to show you that losing weight on a budget is completely doable. What's more, eating healthfully on a regular basis does not really have to cost significantly more. I want to show you some smart budgeting tips, but the biggest tip that I can give you at this point, number one, is to keep it simple. First things first, before you get started, it's important for you to map out your weight loss strategy. Exactly how do you want to go about losing weight? Is your problem more of having a sweet tooth, so you want to replace that with healthy vegetables? Do you just have problems with you just don't even know how to create a meal plan or a healthy meal plan for yourself? You want to figure out how much weight you want to lose and how do you want to go about it. Do you want to purchase a membership plan at the gym to help you lose weight, or do you want to subscribe to an online program? Exactly what is it that you want to do? Because you have to have a clear-cut weight loss strategy in order for you to adequately manage your budget. So I want you to spend some time just brainstorming about your specific weight loss intentions and your specific weight loss goals. When you have that clear idea, then let's talk about spending money. Now, that said, I love this saying, losing weight is a marathon and not a sprint. So we are in this for the long haul. We don't want to yo-yo diet. We don't want to lose weight, gain it back, lose weight, gain it back. Outside of the normal slight variations in your weight, you shouldn't have big changes in your weight by gaining 10 pounds in 2 weeks or a month and then having to lose it all again the next month. Just yo-yoing up and down is not healthy for you. So today we'll talk about just some general tips first on general things we can do when we're working with a tight budget, and then we'll narrow it down to the specific groups. So I have 10 general tips for you. Number one, don't buy specially packaged foods. For example, you know about the 100-calorie snack packs that come maybe 6 in a pack? Those are definitely more expensive as opposed to buying whatever it is and portioning it out yourself. Even with the sweeteners, I used to purchase the sweeteners in the little sachets. I stopped doing that. I just buy the big bag, I pour it into a container, and I put a teaspoon in there that I'm always going to use to have one serving. Those little packaged sweetener sachets are a little bit more expensive. We want to stay away from those. Number two, you really want to be careful about your supplements though. Think about a good supplement that would overall just cover all your bases when it comes to your vitamins and your minerals. I personally consume plant-based proteins, and I have those plant-based supplements that really help me. If you're interested, reach out to me outside of that video. But we want to avoid going to the grocery store or to the pharmacy and you see things like water pills, fat burners, just different things that are displayed out there, and you think, you know what, I'll try this and see if it'll help me lose weight. You want to stay away from things like that. Number three, if you live in my area, the water here is not really good. The water from the tap is not clean at all. It's not pure. It's not drinkable. I am stuck with buying water. But one of the places where you can save is just to stop buying water if you are in an area where the tap water is drinkable. So just look into your area and see, if you can drink that water, then stop buying the little bottles of water. $3 here, $4 there, it all adds up. And when you're on a budget, you want to be looking at every single dollar. Tip number 4 is to stock up on simple, healthy staples. You don't really need things like chia seeds, flaxseed, organic sprouts, coconut butter. Those things could be a little bit pricey. Instead, just stock up on your basic vegetables, especially if they are in season and they are fresh and frozen and you have the space. Stock up on those. If you see a canned vegetable like beans, especially if it's on sale, go ahead and buy that in bulk. Be ready to stock up on things if you can purchase them in bulk and if they will not perish quickly. Tip number 4, when you're on a weight loss journey, I talk about staying active, getting active, but don't misunderstand me. You don't have to have a gym subscription all the time. Some of these gym subscriptions go from, say, $9.99 all the way up to $79. I've seen the most expensive one I saw per month was $79. So you really want to be careful about that. If you have a smartphone, just go to YouTube. There are so many workout videos there. During the pandemic, when we were on complete lockdown, I did one workout per day for about 60 days or 65 days in a row, and it was just working out at home. Very effective. So you just want to be disciplined, and you don't have to have a gym membership. You don't have to have specialized clothes. Just jump up, put on a t-shirt and some shorts and get going. Tip number 6 is really all about planning. Before you go to the grocery store, go make your shopping list. You want to start thinking about exactly what are you going to prepare to help you on your weight loss journey. Once you've figured out your meal plan for that week, take out of that meal plan and make your shopping list. So you go in prepared, knowing what you'll buy, as opposed to walking around in the aisle and picking different things that may look interesting. You may end up spending a little bit more money that way. Now, talking about movement, during the day, you also want to stay active. Yes, we've talked about exercise, but just moving a little bit more during the day will help. Have you ever heard of the word NEAT when it comes to fitness? NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and this is the energy expended for everything that we do when we are not sleeping and when we are not actually exercising. So the way to increase this amount of energy is simple things like, and I'm guilty, when I go to the gym, for some reason I want to park closest to the door. Doesn't it make sense even? But you want to make it a habit. When you go to the grocery store, you go to the bank, you go to the gym, wherever you go to the mall, make it a habit of parking far away. Also, you can take the stairs as opposed to riding the elevator all the time. Do your own chores. I have a garden out there, and lately I was thinking, wow, this garden is too big. It's taking too much of my time. Maybe I need to hire somebody to help me with the weeding and the pruning of the vegetables and things. And then I told myself, you know what, on the days that I'm not going to exercise, that I know I don't want to exercise, that's the day I need to be out there in the garden doing a little bit more. So just doing your own chores would help. Also at work, if you're somebody who has to sit down for so long during the day, make it a habit of just standing up and walking around. Now, tip number 8 is the big one. This is the bottom line, hands down, the most important tip of all. If you're going to adopt just one tip or one new habit out of this video, what I really recommend is for you to use this one. Meal prep. Cook your own food at home. Please cook your own food at home. Preparing your own meals and snacks can do wonders for your body because you have full control of what you put in your body, and it does an equally fantastic job for your bank account. According to the United States Bureau of Labor, an average of $3,459 is spent by an American family per year on in dining, taking out food from the restaurant, food delivery, and fast foods, about $3,500 an average. I read a study that was published in Forbes magazine, and what they said was that it cost about 5 times more to have food either delivered or eating out in the restaurant or buying fast food. You are spending about 5 times more compared to someone who's cooking at home. Now, there are some food delivery services that already pre-make things and they ship to you, and all you have to do is put it together and then cook it. Yes, those are a little bit cheaper than the restaurant foods, but they are still 3 times more expensive compared to those who just go to the grocery store, come back home, and cook their own food and package it. Okay? Number 9. Go for seasonal fruits and vegetables. This one here is a no-brainer. But I just wanted to encourage you, on things that may seem to be in the house, they've stayed too long and you think they are getting spoiled. The biggest one is bananas. You keep those and they start to have those black little dots on the outside. I just encourage you to chop those up and put them in Ziploc bags and put in the freezer. Now, if you want fruit that's not in season, I would go for the fresh and frozen because those are more healthy. Yes, you can get them in cans, but you do want to make sure it doesn't have any added sugar. Make sure it doesn't have any high fructose corn syrup. It doesn't have any cornstarch. It doesn't have any glucose, because all those are added sweeteners that will increase your carbohydrate intake. So you go for either fresh fruit or fresh frozen, or if it's canned, make sure it's stored only in the juice of the fruit itself. Lastly, we'll talk about a big one, which is leftovers. Generally, when you sit down as a family and the food is left over, people leave it in the refrigerator, and then the whole our habit is to just take it out of the refrigerator at a certain point and throw it away. Let's be very careful about that, because you are just throwing away your money if you throw away leftovers. You can repurpose some of these leftovers. I'll tell you what I do personally. I love spinach stir fry. Sometimes it's in the refrigerator, it's a little bit too, it's been there for 2-3 days and I've already had it, and I don't really feel like having it anymore. I'll take it and I'll either use it to cook another vegetable like okra, and I make okra soup. If you're African, you would know what that is. Or I can take that spinach and I put it in my eggs when I'm frying them. I take it and I make another dish called eru. It just depends. I don't like to throw away food that I bought with my hard-earned dollar, and I know your food was purchased with a hard-earned dollar as well, so you don't want to waste it. Another thing we need to think about is just making different kinds of soups out of vegetables. When you keep those vegetables in the fridge and it's been there for a little bit too long, and when you stir fry it, it's not going to be crunchy, like your carrots, your green beans, your celery sticks. Why don't you chop those and make like a risotto? Why don't you chop those and use to add to your eggs? Why don't you chop those and make into a soup? So you can make, or you can just take the vegetables and throw into your smoothie. Just anything, so you're not throwing away your food. If it's something like rice, you can use it as a thickener. If your children eat spaghetti, don't throw it away. Put a little bit of oil in that, in a Ziploc bag, and put it in the freezer. It's still going to be good. But throwing away food really can put a dent in your budget that you may not realize. So those were my 10 general tips for losing weight on a budget. Now I want to move on to the main food groups, which are your proteins, your carbohydrates, your fats, and then we'll talk about fruits and vegetables also. For proteins, I want to rely on budget-friendly sources of proteins. So instead of meats, sometimes meats are really expensive, but if we are on a tight budget, it's very, very cost effective to go for chicken. Keep in mind, when you go for the chicken drumsticks or the chicken thighs, those ones are darker meats. They do contain a little bit more fat. You just want to take it all in consideration when you're trying to lose weight, and they also think about the fact that you are on a budget. My go-to chicken at this time is the chicken breast. Why? Because you can get this big family pack which has about 25 servings in it, and it costs less than $15. That's less than $1 a serving of chicken. Do you know how much a serving of chicken costs in the restaurant? I mean, you go to the restaurant and get, I'm talking about regular restaurants. You go there, you can get a chicken dish for about $15. Meanwhile, you're here at home, you purchase it and you cook it yourself. It's less than $1 for one serving. Now, for the fish, it's about the same thing. Most of the time, fresh fish is more expensive, and I found a really cheaper version in canned fish. Now, don't turn up your nose. Fresh salmon, where in the area where I live, is about $11 a pound. Yes, I do like to pan fry it or sear it in the grill and eat it. It tastes really fantastic. But when I'm on a budget and I'm looking at those dollars as they're going by, I still want to keep up with my protein. I still want to have a little bit of variety there. I've had chicken, I want to have some fish. I can go with the canned salmon. The canned salmon, they're rich in omegas, really high in protein. Make sure you get the canned salmon in water. And Walmart has the ones that are 6 ounces. They come in a pack of 3, and those things are about $4, less than $5 anyway. That's less than $5 for 3 servings of salmon. And if you actually cook it, my favorite, I teach my patients this, is to make the salmon croquettes. I learned this from Dr. Oz, where you just take salmon, mash it up, add some whole wheat breadcrumbs, add some egg, roll it up in patties, and then pan fry it. You have a delicious serving of protein, carbohydrate, and fat, and all of that is less than $1 in one salmon patty. See, instead of buying the fresh salmon, which is $11 per pound. Next, eggs. Eggs are a great source of protein. Dead cheap. I eat my eggs in different ways. We want to really move away from thinking of eggs as just a breakfast food only. Eat eggs for breakfast, for lunch, for snack, for supper. Now, you want to be careful, because what I do is I actually take the egg yolk out. If I'm going to eat one egg, I'll eat a whole egg. But if it's more than one, I would take the egg yolk out. I only allow myself to eat one egg yolk at a time, but I can eat 4 or 5 eggs at a time, and those would just be the egg white. Eggs are dead cheap. I can get 18 eggs, 18 for less than $2. Very, very cheap, cost effective. If you're trying to lose weight, you want your proteins to be up, don't forget to get you some eggs. You can make breakfast things with eggs. You can make lunch. One lunch that I love making is my egg avocado salad. I just take the avocado, chop it in cubes, peel the eggs, take just the egg white that's been boiled, and I cut it in cubes, add a little bit of salt, a little bit of seasonings, a dash of olive oil, and that just gives me a good egg and avocado salad. I love it. Another protein that I really like, that's healthy, high in protein, and dead cheap, is ground turkey. Sometimes you just get tired of eating the chicken and the fish, and you say, I want to eat something else, but I want it healthy. I use this ground turkey to make turkey meatballs. Turkey meatballs, does that make sense? But anyway, I use that because I can make those balls and make a sauce and eat those with a zucchini squash, for example. Very healthy, low fat. That's how I keep my weight down, and it's also dead cheap. Also, Greek yogurt, great source of protein, very cheap. I like to buy the big container that has 4 to 6 servings. It just comes out cheaper when I portion it. I get the plain unsweetened, so I can sweeten it with my stevia and put some flavoring in it. I put either strawberry flavor or banana flavor. It just depends on what I'm feeling. Cottage cheese is another very cheap alternative. Now, let's also remember that beans and lentils both contain protein and fiber and some carbohydrates, always very effective. Now, moving on to our carbohydrate food groups, and I'm just giving you the big examples. Of course, there are so many more, but these are just the big ones, and we can just stick around these to keep it simple and just mix and match to make a variety of different things. Oatmeal, get the old-fashioned oatmeal in the big canister in Walmart. That big canister is about $4. You get about 30 servings in that. $4 for 30 servings of oatmeal. Great source of carbohydrate there for you. So don't go to the fast food and buy oatmeal for $3 and tell yourself it's just $2. Meanwhile, you can get the big canister. One serving of oatmeal there is just less than 50 cents, a lot less than 50 cents. And what I do, I don't spend time cooking oatmeal on the stove, making a big old mess. All I do is I take my container, I measure out a serving of oatmeal, I add almond milk, I'll add some stevia. It just depends on what flavoring I'm feeling. Most of the time I'll put just a little bit of caramel, a little bit of salt, and I'm good to go. If I have some crushed nuts, I throw them in there. If I have blueberries or strawberries, I'll just throw a few in there, and that makes a fantastic oatmeal that is cheap, healthy, cost effective. English muffins are also very affordable. If you're looking at the rices, brown rice, you want to be careful about the carbohydrate content, but everybody needs a small amount of every single food group. So I would go with the brown rice or the quinoa. Those are cost effective. Also, your sweet potatoes are cost effective. I've seen the sweet potatoes that are separately packaged in just one sweet potato, packaged in some transparent covering where you can just take that and put in the microwave and you're good to go. Let's try to move away from doing things like that if we're watching dollars and cents. And I want to end the talk on vegetables by just touching on some vegetables that last longer when they're not refrigerated, because some people are just strapped for space in the refrigerator, and I totally understand that. So some vegetables that may last outside of your refrigerator a little bit longer are things like cabbage, squash, butternut squash, for example. Those may last a little bit longer. I know tomato is not it's not a vegetable, it's a fruit, but you can get canned tomatoes. Those would save you space in your refrigerator, and those are just as healthy as the fresh ones. Now, moving on to fruits and vegetables, the only real thing I'm going to say here is that you want to go for what's seasonal. Also think a little bit outside of the box. You don't have to get organic, because the things that are labeled organic are expensive. It matters to us when we are on a budget. Also, your bagged spinach is a great vegetable to have on hand because it's so versatile. It goes into smoothies, it goes into the omelette in the morning, it goes into just so many dishes during the day. Even you can eat that for salad. The other one I want to talk about is the fruits that are fresh versus the fruits that are frozen. Now, for the purposes of weight loss, I really encourage people to try to stick around fresh or frozen strawberries or berries. Your berries have the lowest glycemic index. So when you're trying to lose weight, you don't really want to consume too many fruits. Stay away from things like watermelon. I'm sorry, I know it's the season for it. We are in the summertime at the time of this recording. But anyway, things like watermelon, grapes, those have a higher glycemic index, meaning that they have more sugar and they may work against your weight loss efforts. So go for the ones that have a lower glycemic index, things like strawberries and blueberries. Now, those are expensive when they are fresh. So I encourage you to go for the frozen one. Those are just as good. You can put those in your yogurt, you can put those in your oatmeal, you can put those in your smoothie. All these said, you want to consider and not forget to prepare your own meals and your own snacks at home. Because when you do that, it's cheaper for you and you are in full control of what you put in your body. So bottom line, a healthy diet does not have to be expensive. That's how I succeeded in losing 92 pounds over the past 3 years, and I've kept it off so far. In the beginning of this talk, we talked about having a weight loss strategy. So if you are out there and you're struggling by yourself, you've been losing weight and gaining it back, you're struggling to even lose weight, you don't even know where to start. And if you're ready to follow a carefully planned, effective program, I encourage you to join the Evolve Method membership program, and the link is in the comments below. Having a clear idea of your weight loss goals and strategy really helps you stay on track. So I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope you got some useful and practical information out of this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and you can stay connected with me on Instagram, Dr. Inaka Yembe, or on Facebook, or you can visit my website at drinakayembe.com. Thank you.